Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. It's the first day of Q2. Woohoo, we got through Q1 because everybody kept saying 2020 was a tough year. And I think that I've heard this from a lot of friends and colleagues that we thought, oh, it's 2021, it's all better. But I think we still had to keep our sleeves rolled way up and we still had a lot of heavy lifting to do. But I don't know about the rest of you. I definitely feel like it's starting to get better now. You know, more people are getting vaccinated and we've slid into our new normal more than, wasn't as easy, I think, as we thought entry would be to 2021, but it is starting to feel better. And no fooling, I know it's April Fool's, so I'm not kidding. I mean it. I think 2021 and Q2 and beyond is going to start looking better and better. And for those of you who just popped in, we're going to keep our virtual programming for our Venture Cafe Thursday gatherings for Providence, 10:30 to 1 through the end of August. But we're adding an in-person networking, limited capacity, and a new hybrid session in which we'll have in-person and we'll have it virtual. So from 4 to 6, starting Thursday, May 13th, we will be open in our lounge. We'll open up our bar. So we'll have beer and wine. We will then at 5, we're trying to sign up singers and songwriters. So if any of you have any ideas, we'll drop our emails in here, and my LinkedIn just got posted in the chat. Evelyn, if you can drop my email and Amy's email, if you have any ideas for programming, or if you know of a local musician who might be interested in opening up that new series. From 5 to 6, we'll have the hybrid series, The Future Of, and that will be a curated conversation series with local thought leaders and experts talking about, the future of all kinds of things. So our first one on May 13th will be The Future Of, we haven't titled it, but Innovation in Medicine and Innovation. It's going to be something like that, and we're excited to bring that to you. But welcome everybody that's here. It's Thursday, tomorrow's Good Friday. Sunday is Easter. I think we're all adults, so I can say one of my side hustles is I dress up as the Easter Bunny. Fun fact about Tuni. I'm the executive director of District Hall Venture Cafe for the most part, but once a year we break out the Easter Bunny costume, and I'm in Wickford at Beauty in the Bath. So if you have kids or grandkids and you want physically distanced pictures, we did it last Saturday, and I can't tell you how many hundreds of smiles we created, and it was really nice, and people were really excited to see something so comforting. So I'll be there tomorrow, 3 to 5, Saturday, 12 to 2. Hi, Monica from Tech Collective. We have some very great news. I don't know, is our friend able to be on today?
She is not. She is quintuply committed somewhere along the way. But yeah, our great news is Creosa Michelazzo has been named executive director of the Tech Collective. So we're thrilled. She will bring a lot of energy, some new thought, and really a push for diversity and inclusion within all of the programming that we do at the Tech Collective. So it's been a busy couple of weeks getting ready for that announcement, but well worth it.
Yes, very excited. She has something that you can't find. If she has so much passion and love for that organization that I'm on the board of Tech Collective, by the way. So when I say we, and Sue Lee is here, she's also on the board, and Monica and the team, we're all very excited to make that announcement. And I'm so proud that we have a young Latina woman leading our state's tech organization. I mean, I get goosebumps and get teary every time I talk about that, but that is and she brings it. So, she wasn't given that role because of that. She really loves this organization, and she's going to bring it over the finish line as we've all been working hard to reorganize, restructure, and recalibrate Tech Collective. So I think 2021 and 2022 is going to be very exciting for the Tech Hub for the state. So thank you, Monica.
Sure.
Sue Lee, do you have anything to add to that? Are you there? Sue Lee.
I am.
There you are.
Hi, Tuni. Thanks so much for, I am very excited. Tech Collective has gone through a couple of different pivots, but I think at Creusa is, as Tuni said, going to hit it out of the park. We've got a great transition team and strategy session going on. I hope that those of you on the line here will engage with the Tech Collective, both through partnerships, that are in the work, as well as some of the Tech Collective specific programming out there. So do check them out. Monica, you can put your information in the chat. And Tuni, is there anything else that I should mention?
Nope, Monica does a
No?
great job. Every week she pops in and she shares what's going on. So if you want to pop in some information, Monica, that would be great. I failed to say happy Passover. So it's a good time. It's a good time of year, and the sun is shining and it's getting warmer, and I think that it's exciting. And Jerry, I will have Amy pop her email in the chat, and we'd love to connect with you to talk about having you do some programming. I met you through Chuck Goldstone's Roundtable, I believe. Right? Isn't that how we met? Yes. And love seeing you on these programs.
And just to make a plug, Monica, there's also an Ocean and Tech Collective upcoming session on cybersecurity and cloud computing and it looks to be very usable for small business.
You mean the email protection?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be
excellent. To secure your email communications. It's on April 6th from 10 to 11, and I'll put the link in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, those programs are fantastic, and we can all learn something from that. I won't say all, but most of us should attend that program and learn more about how to protect our email. So today we're focusing, I don't know if you all know this, but with our Venture Cafe Thursday programming, we focus on themes. We serve our community. What we do as an organization is connect anyone with an idea or a business to the resources they need to grow. And we do it through our programming and our spaces, whether they're in person or virtual. And in Rhode Island, we base a lot of our programming around economic drivers. So technology, and there are multiple parts under the technology umbrella that we try to cover in our programming. And today is robotics. Amy, I know you've invited Tom here. I don't know if any of you watch 60 Minutes. It's one of the only TV shows I watch. And last week was so exciting. Tom, did you watch it?
Yes, I did. And it was fun to see. Boston Dynamics is one of the companies we work with. And it's always fun to see their robots. If you ever have a chance to get a demo of any of their Spot or their Atlas or now their Stretch robots, it's always a lot of fun.
So on my way in, I only live in Southern Rhode Island. So on my way into Providence this morning, I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about the Amazon warehouse in, I believe it was Iowa, that the people who work there are trying to form a union because they're being overworked. So it was, it's in response to so many people getting, next day delivery and what that's doing to the workforce of Amazon and others. And I couldn't help but think about the 60 Minutes episode I watched, Tom, in today's programming.
Yep. Yeah, and it is interesting. We've followed some of that. Also in Alabama, I think they were looking to unionize because of the volume of work that they have to do, and we're driving that. We as consumers are driving that, and there's an amazing amount of automation that's being developed to assist in that. And there's some great companies locally that are developing what we call autonomous mobile robots, or these small platforms that will maneuver through warehouses and help move the goods as they're picked and move them to the pack out area to get ready to be shipped. And it's interesting to see that recent push in the last year or two to adopt this technology.
It's interesting. So when they kind of closed up that 60 Minutes session, they talked about the new product from Boston Dynamics, right? That has that big arm that is going to assist. And then, I can't help but say, because everyone says, okay, if we do that, we are taking away jobs. But after hearing that NPR segment, humans are being overworked. So this is additive, right? This is going to take away some of the pain points. And then what are the jobs that are going to be, exist now and are coming in the future as we employ more robots?
I think that's an important point that you raise. Really, where robots are today and where they will be for the next dozen or many dozens of years. They can do certain tasks really well, but there are a lot that humans will just always be better at. And so the new trend is to develop what are called collaborative robots, or robots that work in close proximity or side by side humans. And the robots will do certain very repetitive tasks, maybe the heavy lifting. And then the humans will do a lot of the tasks that are required to efficiently move these goods and get them where they need to go. And so this ability to have robots and humans work together is an important step. I think there's certainly a concern that robots are going to replace humans. I just don't see that happening. I see that robots will assist, especially in the new Boston Dynamics robot. It's 2,600 pounds. It can lift 50 pounds at a good distance. That's a heavy weight for somebody to be doing. And for somebody to be lifting 50 pounds for 8 hours a day, that is really stressful on the body. To have a robot be able to do that, and then have the human be able to say, okay, take this package, put it here, and help in the kind of the intelligent distribution of it, I think that's a great way to team. And that's going to be important as this technology gets rolled out.
Plus, we heard the term robot wranglers.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a big one. And before I was doing what I'm currently doing, I worked at iRobot, and we had a number of robot wranglers for their more complex robots that were being deployed in primarily for the military. And it's just a term around essentially a technician. Think of the old days when you used to have your Xerox copier technician, and he was out there every other day because the copying machines weren't as reliable as they are today, and you needed that person who had a skill to be able to fix and keep these robots up and running. And that's going to continue, whether it's making sure that they don't get stuck in certain areas, whether it's making sure they're fully charged and ready to go, or whether it's some of the programming and just assigning them tasks and getting them to do some of the things that they can do. That's going to require some unique folks, and that demand for that type of person is going to really grow.
It'll be interesting to see, the different levels and, educational institutions and, opportunities that come for all different levels of,
Yep.
From low skill to high skill. So tell us about mass robotics here in Rhode
Sure.
Island. Although our audience is from all over, and there are lots of Boston people here and people from other countries and states often.
Sure. So Mass Robotics is an independent nonprofit. Our mission is to support the robotics industry, help it grow. We also run an innovation center in downtown Boston that we are partnered with CIC. So we do a lot of cross programming. And the innovation center is an area where startups can come and really get a space and get all the tools and resources that they might need if they're developing a robot. So everything from prototyping, we have CNCs, laser cutters, things like that, to software. Our startups get about $50,000 worth of software just walking through the door from companies like SolidWorks and Autodesk and MathWorks and Google and Amazon and all that. So a lot of resources specifically around robotics. So we're very vertically focused. Although robotics is a pretty broad topic, when you say that, you think of, we have companies that are doing agricultural robots or medical robots or warehouse. We talked about automation, factory automation. We have people that are doing outdoor robots, consumer robots. So it's quite a variety of companies. I think we house about 60 companies now in our space.
Wow, that's exciting. Thank you so much for being on. And is there anything else you'd like to share? Do you have any programs opening up with applications or?
We do. We have. We run a lot of events that are focused, obviously, on robotics. We're doing one April 13th on robotics in food technology, which is a really growing area. Everything from the burger flipping robots, which people might have seen, but also just the handling and processing of food, the picking of food, how to make food more efficient and so less wasteful. The U.S. Throws out an incredible amount of food because it's just either not picked or not managed and gotten to a place where it can be used in an efficient manner. So we'll talk a little bit about that technology. We do events like that throughout the year. And then we also have a big STEM component, which is really exciting. We work with local schools to get them trained up on what's happening. And to your point, there's a lot of community colleges now that are building out robotics programs for the robot wrangler that we talked about earlier. And I think that's exciting. There's starting to be this career pathway from high school through, and we're excited to help in that as well.
That's fantastic. I know my 14-year-old daughter, she didn't bite because they offer robotics at her junior high school.
Oh, really?
And going into high school, we have a great program. Amy's daughter, though, is very.
I was going to say, my 7-year-old came home the other day with a camp invention flyer, and she's like, I'm going to this because they're going to let me build a robot.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Okay. Let's sign you up.
Yep, absolutely. And you can't start them too young. And there's some great tools now that allow children to program robots. It's amazing when a young child gets to see physically something move because they made it move. That really gets them hooked. So great on your daughter for going to that camp.
Yeah, she has a little robotic unicorn that she built, and she controls it with a smartphone. It's very cool.
Excellent.
I love it. Jerry posted that he's been interested in robotics since reading Isaac
Asimov's. Yep.
Yep. iRobot in 1960.
Mm.
Wow. And in the late 80s, you were the chair of the IEEE Boston Section's robotics chapter. So it's exciting to see the evolution, Jerry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing that. That's exciting.
No problem. Happy to do so.
Alyssa, what's going on with you? You're all over the place. I see you, reading about you. What do you have going on?
Oh, hi. Well, Tuni, I just, I won a hackathon with a team in December. It was my first hackathon ever as a UX designer. And we were able to release our web app, and it's called Medi Thanks. And it's basically a virtual gratitude wall to thank the frontline healthcare workers for their service.
I love it. Can you drop information in the chat so people can check it out?
Yeah, let me just grab the link. So the platform is free. It just looks like the way you would sign up and post for any social media app. We made it really easy to sign up, and you can post anonymously. You can tag the hospital or medical facility of your choice, a doctor, or the location you're at, and just have fun with it. We're really hoping to normalize gratitude, and it's just such a power,
Oh, that's so awesome. We're so excited for you. How was the General Assembly hackathon? It wasn't just a hackathon. It's kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, it was a hackathon. There were 6 teams. It was during the holiday season, so it was, let's see, 3 intense days. We had 2 mentors for our team, one for the developers and one for the designers. Let's see, I had on my team, I had 4 software engineers and a UX researcher with me. And then after winning the hackathon, we just got an overwhelming amount of support, and everyone said that they thought it could be a real thing. It was, we designed it really quick. We worked around the clock, basically, supporting each other, and we're able to get a working app on React just locally in just 3 days and present that. It was high functioning, but it didn't look as good as it didn't look as good as my UI in Figma, let's say. And then actually my mentor, Joe Cahill, was really supportive in it, and he put down his credit card so we could get the domain and the hosting and everything. And he was just like, I support you. And he swiped his card, and that was that. And we just, we worked hard. I kind of project managed a little bit, and we were able to release the app as a soft launch to see if anyone could break it first before releasing it to the public. So that was about mid-February that we released it.
Wow, that's so exciting. So it's nice to hear, your user experience within the hackathon, and just saying that your mentor was all in, and what a difference that makes, right? To get you over the finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was getting all these messages from other hackathon participants, and everyone was just saying we should make it real and that it was such a good idea. And we just really put a lot of work into it. It really helped, though, that we worked so well as a team. We were all strangers. We did not know each other previously. We were just set up with this team. We had an online Miro board, and we just kind of went to town, and we worked so well together somehow. And we're able to come up with a cohesive plan and idea really quickly. And I think that's what made us successful. You know, some of the other teams, they weren't really taking into account how long development would take. But I was constantly talking to the developers and asking them, how long does this take to code? How long does this take to code? Because, you know, as a junior designer, it's something you've got to learn. So it
I'm
really
thinking
helped me
about, you
learn.
know, on Food Network, you know how they have the cooking challenges. Wouldn't it be cool to have something like this that we could watch? You know, those of us like nerds in this space. I'd rather watch something like that as it's happening over 3 days and be able to check in. Tom, do you do anything like that at Mass Robotics? Just an idea.
We do. Actually, I'm in the office today. Behind me, we have a bunch of collaborative arms, and sometimes the guys get bored with the work they're doing, and they will make them do fun things. It's always neat to see when you walk and see the arms. They'll do some kind of dance move, maybe, or something with the arms. It's neat to see.
Yeah, all of this stuff. I wish that it was, you know, open to the public, and we were able to promote it to the masses a little bit more. That would be neat to see that whole process you went through, Alyssa. But congratulations.
Thank you. It was a cool process, and everyone really enjoyed being a part of it. I know that in normal times, a lot of hackathons are like, you go somewhere and you're all working in groups together, and it's like an overnight thing, a whole weekend, and you get pizza and you get to actually meet people. But we did ours virtually and it was fine. I could get my own pizza if I wanted, but it would be really nice. I would definitely participate again if I had the chance, even though I'm employed now. So yeah. It was a great portfolio piece for me, for sure. And as a junior designer, it was really hard to get that experience working hands-on with a development team. So it was really beneficial for me. So I recommend it to any student in any kind of design or any realm, actually, to be able to collaborate with others is just, it's so motivating.
That's exciting. Well, thank you for being on to share that. And we're going to continue to be your cheerleaders here at Venture Cafe. So keep us posted and we'll definitely have you back.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Actually, Alyssa's coming back next week from 11:15 to 11:30. She's going to do a demo of many things, and we'll talk a little bit more about the experience, but we'll actually get to see it instead of just kind of.
For our startup story session that is moving to that time. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, we do startup stories and we've been doing them 12:45 to 1 at the end of our Venture Cafe Thursday programming, but we're pivoting because we've seen a drop off right at that time. And we love this series. So we're moving it to 10:45 to 11. You're doing hers from 11:15 to 11:30.
11:15 to 11:30.
I'm confused. Yes. Okay. 11:15 to 11:30 because I started 11:30. You can tell we do a lot of programming. I just do what I'm told sometimes. Yes. Amy, do you have any information on the Defense Inno?
I do, and I have a picture that I want to share. But Evelyn is going to drop some information in the chat. There is a Defense Innovation Accelerator coming up, and the reason why we wanted to promote it today is kind of twofold. One, the application is due tomorrow. So Evelyn, please drop that in the chat. So anybody who's interested has the opportunity to at least look at it. There will be future experiences, but also because anytime I can, I like to rag on my husband a little bit. And even though he's not paying attention, this is Talon, which is a bomb disposal robot made famous in the Simpsons movie for committing suicide. This is my husband's actual former position when he was in the US Army. He was an EOD bomb squad explosive ordnance disposal technician. And so I just like to share this picture because I think it's funny that I went for a walk with my husband while he was a robot. But as we kind of think about robots at work and all the different uses for them, obviously defense is a major component. And I think Tom alluded to that when he worked for iRobot, he worked with military contractors or military to get their robot wranglers up and running. So
what is
Amy, just a lot of credit to Amy's husband. Being a bomb tech is one of the most challenging and difficult positions in the military. You know, it's a heartless position in many respects. And I give her husband a lot of credit for doing it.
Yeah, thank you. It's a job that I like to make fun of him for, but it is something that I'm super proud of because it's an intense training program and it's also an intense role to play when you are in country.
Before we jump, Amy, Tom put in here, construction robotics is a big growing area. That'll be interesting to see what's coming down the pike in construction.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on. I think inspection is kind of the first area. There's a lot of drone inspection and other types of inspection. There's some neat robots that now map out construction sites as they progress to really give a real-time view for managers to understand how the construction's going. And then there's a lot of robots that are doing different aspects of construction. We have a company that's doing robotic spraying. So it paints with a robot. And it's incredible on how quickly it can paint, but also how reliably, you know, it's very repetitive. And so when you're painting, especially anything like a hotel where you have many rooms that are the same, you can kind of program the robot to say, here's one room, here's what you want to paint, and then go do this 20 times on these next 20 rows of rooms. And it'll just do that all day.
Wow.
Kind of neat.
Yeah, I hate to paint, so I can totally appreciate that. Well, thank you again for being on. I know we only have 3 minutes left, Amy. What else should we share to the group before we transition to our programming?
We have a great lineup for today's program. We are talking robotics all day. And as part of that, we are talking robots at work, specifically with Polaris MEP. And Kathy, if you want to just do like 1 minute on what Polaris MEP is, I know you kind of have time in that, but let's do that now so that people can kind of.
Sure. Thank you, Amy. So Polaris MEP is one of the 51 MEP centers across the country. There's an MEP center in every state and Puerto Rico. We are part of the U.S. Department of Commerce NIST MEP program. And our mission is to help manufacturing companies grow and innovate. And I'm thrilled to be part of this presentation and managing and facilitating the great speakers that we have today. One of the things that we're working towards is how can we help Rhode Island companies innovate and grow, and robotics is certainly one of those things to look into.
Excellent.
Amy, before you cut me off, I just want to thank everyone for being here for our 11:30 to 12 Cultivating Innovation Informal Conversations with me, Rhode Island's Economic Gardener, also the Executive Director of District Hall and Venture Cafe Providence. And I want to invite any of you, if you're up in Providence and you need a place to work, we have 2 floors of beautiful open public lounges that are free. And we have plenty of space, so we're all physically distanced, and we have meeting rooms and event space like the one I'm in right now. And it's getting busier. There are people's comfort level is increasing, and we have people in our lounge every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And we're going to keep virtual for our Thursday gatherings through August at least, but we're adding in-person and hybrid from 4 to 6. Starting, Charles, I hope to see you here. I see you in your Hollywood Square from 4 to 6, starting Thursday, May 13th. And we have a new hybrid series we're kicking off, which will be a curated conversation series talking about the future of all different kinds of topics. And I will be quiet now because it is 12 o'clock and I'm handing the mic back over to you, Amy.
And I'm shooting daggers. So yes, we have the Robots at Work panel from 12 to 12:45. Stick around at 12:45 because we have a really exciting startup story with V2 Subsea about underwater robotics. Now I am going to share my screen one more time just to introduce this panel, and we'll let them get started.